Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Walt Hall and Bach Wines Happy Hour, where great minds drink alike. My name is Jeff Zappelli, and I'm the general manager for Walt Wines. And it is a beautiful fall, and we're just getting ready to close out October day here. I'm actually in Marin County, but in Napa County and Sonoma County, it's just a wonderful, wonderful way to come off of those 10 inches of rain that fell on us in the last week. For those of you who weren't aware, we were in a drought. We got a whole bunch of water. So everything is, kind of back to normal. We don't have to worry about our fire danger anymore. Things are just beautiful. And this is the time of the year when the entire valley smells just like wine, like fermenting grapes. So I hope that you will all take this chance to come out and see us at any of our 5 tasting rooms that we have in Sonoma and Napa counties, either in our Healdsburg, Sonoma, in our Napa Oxbow, where we have the 2 wineries for Hall Wines in St. Helena and Rutherford. It's a beautiful time to come taste. 70 degrees, amazing. But I know you didn't come here to check out to me talking about what's going on at the winery. I have a really incredible guest today. He's one of my favorite people, one of my favorite pitchers that we've ever had. He is a two-time world champion with the San Francisco Giants. He's a Cy Young winning pitcher of the Oakland Athletics. He was featured in Michael Lewis's book Moneyball. He's also an author of his own book called Curveballs. You might already know where I'm going with this. Currently hanging out in Nashville, writing songs for himself and others. Please welcome Mr. Barry Zito.
Hey, what's up, guys?
How you doing, Barry?
I'm doing great, man. Hanging out, enjoying Nashville. You guys know a little bit what it's like to live out here now, because I think we get like 45 or 50 inches of rain a year. It's just insane. So
yeah, I was gonna say, for a kid growing up in San Diego and Southern California, what's it like to see real weather?
Oh man, yeah, real weather, real seasons. It's like nuts, man. But I'm glad everyone's all right. It's been pretty hectic out in California right now. So
It has. I mean, it's been dry, especially in the South Coast and Santa Barbara areas. It's been really dry, but we're all looking up now. We're optimistic that hopefully we'll have a nice season. I'm a big skier, so I'm looking forward to getting onto the slopes this year. Do you ski at all?
No, never been skiing, never been on a ski device or a snowboard. So I think that's from a career of being an athlete, and now I have young kids, so you can't take babies to the slopes. So we'll have to wait.
Yeah. Well, in due time, man. In due time. You've got some young kids, so I know how that feels.
That's right.
So you dovetailed out of. So I think the last time we caught you in baseball was 2015. You were pitching for the A's minor league team, and you ended up in Nashville. And is that how the music career started for you? Because we wanted to start almost immediately. You've got a great song for us to hear. So I want to get some background on how you got into music.
Yeah, my family's actually musical. My father and mother both worked for Nat King Cole in the 60s.
Wow.
And that's how they met. And so, music was in my blood growing up. My sister went to Berklee School of Music in Boston. And so, it was kind of weird that an athlete came out of that. So I always waited to go into music full time through my baseball career. So this has kind of been a long awaited thing. I never thought I'd do it in Nashville. I thought it'd be in LA, writing songs and working my way into production. And so, but I came and played here for a year, fell in love with Nashville, Tennessee, as apparently everyone has, because it's like everyone's moving here. They call it the third coast,
Yeah.
I'm having a great time, man.
Yeah, no, I love getting out to Nashville. I've only been twice. But no one used to drink wine out there. It was pretty much a whiskey town.
Yeah.
And now it's starting to break in. So that's terrific.
Yeah.
So did you guys play a lot when you were on the road? I know that you and Flan are both musicians. Tim Flannery, I'm talking about. Yeah. What was that like?
We did. Yeah. I mean, I was kind of like the resident guitar teacher to the Oakland A's and the Giants. I mean, it was essentially me, teaching these guys chords and rhythms, and most of them, could afford nice guitars. So they'd buy a great guitar, and then we'd sit down and play in the hotels. But, 3 weeks later, inevitably, they'd like, yeah, I don't really pick it up anymore. I'm like, dude, I just spent like 3 or 4 hours, teaching you for nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was always my passion, playing guitar. I never really wrote songs until kind of I got here. And then I started writing country music for a few years, and, to pitch to other artists. And I got a few small cuts and some TV syncs and things like that. And then, and then took some time to write my book. And then when I came back, I'm like, man, I just want to do pop, produce pop. And so, yeah, I've released 3 songs so far, and it's been fun releasing music, but I'm also still writing country and still pitching to artists, but I'm also doing this thing in this amazing, piece of heaven in the back of my home, the studio. So I got one chance to build a studio, and I really went for it, obviously.
No, clearly. I mean, when we came on with you beforehand, we were just blown away by the amount of technology, and for all the musicians that we've had on these shows, tune into Barry Zito, because you've got it all.
I have a dominant left brain for, which a lot of creatives, they're like, how do I work the computer? So, it can be weird to toggle, but I think it's really fun to kind of work both sides,
Yeah, no, for sure. And so so I just wanted to cue it up today. So how long have you been writing these songs, and what do you have for us today?
Yeah, so today, so I had a lot of songwriter kind of stuff up on streaming sites. I actually pulled that down. People, are like, where can I get the songs? And so, people just get a hold of me on the website. I'll actually just send those MP3s out if people like that music. But I've been just releasing pop songs, this year. So this is my latest release, which came out last Friday.
Yeah.
And and so, I haven't been playing live. So, making a pop song work on the guitar is kind of a different thing. I'm used to playing songwriter music, so I haven't mastered that yet. So I'm just going to sing to the track. I'll be singing live, and then I'm just going to play the track, and you guys can kind of hear the whole vibe of everything. And if you want to hear it, then it's on all the streaming sites.
I was going to say, so I picked up all 3 songs. As soon as I learned, I knew that you were writing music. I knew you were a musician when you were. But I just picked up all 3 songs on Apple Music and was able to get through them all. So which one of the 3 do you have today?
This is called Never Get Enough. And
all right,
my wife inspires me for all the songs I write. And she likes to take credit for the love songs that I write, not the other ones that have a little more angst. I'm like, no, don't worry. I mean, that's not about you. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. I wish I had that outlet. So
exactly. Cool. So let me fix my little headphone.
Yeah, no, for sure. And we're going to get to the wine in just a second for those of you who are waiting for us to talk a little bit about wine. And of course, we'll get to baseball. But I really wanted to have Barry have the opportunity to do this with a fresh voice. And I know what alcohol can do to your throat. So
I'm one of the few that might say, I don't want to drink before I sing. But, there's a whole school out there that wants their little thing of tequila or whiskey on the,
Yeah. That's how a lot of us get going. Just in karaoke.
Sometimes before you take the kids to school, right?
It just depends on the day, man.
Okay, just on Tuesday.
Well, without further ado, so this is Barry Zito.
All right, here we go. Never Get Enough. I chase my share of stars. I've raced the fastest cars, bet on them Vegas cars, but still got bored. 'Cause once the buzz was gone and all the lights came on, yeah, I still always wanted something more. There's about a million things that I could smoke or drink, but they always keep me hanging over. That's why you're my favorite drug. That's why they call it love. You get me higher when I'm sober. I never get enough of you. I could never get enough of you. I'm wasted on your potion. There ain't no overdosing. Get dizzy when I watch you move. Got me spinning up in this room, doing every little thing you do. So just pour it on and make it strong. I never get enough of you. I never get enough of you. I'm on your nicotine. It's sweet like tangerine. It's always keeping me coming back. Trust me, it don't get better than when we four letter. Girl, you took my forever just like that. There's about a million things that I could smoke or drink, but they always leave me hanging over. That's why you're my favorite drug. That's why they call it love. You get me higher when I'm sober. I never get enough of you. I could never get enough of you. I'm wasted on your portion. There ain't no overdosing. Get dizzy when I watch you move. Got me spinning up in this room. Doing every little thing you do. So just pull it on and make me strong. I never get enough of you. Oh, I never get enough of you. Oh, that's why you're my favorite drug. And why they call it love. You get me higher when I'm sober. You, I can never get enough of you. I'm wasted on your portion. There ain't no overdosing. Get dizzy when I watch you move. Got me spinning up in this room. Doing every little thing you do. So just pull it on and make me strong. I never get enough of you. Oh, 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 never get enough of you. No, I never get enough of you. I never get enough. No.
Oh man, that was incredible. That was awesome. Thanks so
brother.
much for doing that.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
That was-
That's fun to I've never sang that song live just because nothing's really opened up yet. And so yeah, thanks for giving me a chance to sing it.
I was gonna say, did that just debut like live for the first time on the Hall Wall?
Yeah, it did.
Wines?
It did. It hit, yeah, I gotta hit that bridge a couple more times, I think.
No, that's good. I mean, you got to try it out, right? Like it's when you're performing, you got to test it out in small clubs before you.
Yeah, I gotta test it out. Yeah, small clubs, and then I'll do the arenas. Yeah, at that point.
Well, you've already done arenas technically, so
yeah, that's right. Not singing, but throwing a ball.
I think you've been by yourself in the middle of a big arena on the biggest show.
Yes,
a couple times.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. For some reason, the 30 years experience doing that before I did that helped. Whereas 4 or 5 years experience is still like a little nerve wracking,
Yeah. So, hey, cheers to you, man. That was awesome.
Here we go. We got the Walt cracking. I know I brought I bought the bottle of wine, and my wife was like, have fun, honey. Gosh, must be working hard in there.
So yeah, totally. Short story on that. When the pandemic hits, cheers to you, man. That was awesome.
That was awesome. Cheers to everybody. Hi guys.
Yeah, cheers. So pandemic hits, we start doing these shows, and my wife's literally like sending pictures of Instagram. She's like, "Here's my husband working today, banned from the winery." But
there you go.
So did you think that? How much of that? So it takes a lot to be a songwriter to actually take the mic and go, right? Like there's songwriting and there's actually performing. Do you think that the nerves in baseball helped you with that, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's very similar. Just performing in general is very similar. I think when music, it's a little different because you want to engage the audience, you want to connect with the audience, you want to have them feel what you're feeling. Whereas in baseball, you're out there kind of fighting for your life, regardless of if 20 people are watching or 20,000 or whatever. So it is a little different in that regard. But thinking too much and trying to be perfect is usually always going to be bad. And just having a good time and doing what you do is usually going to lead to a fun result. At least you'll enjoy the process of it.
Yeah, I think about that when I think about our winemakers. So I'm the general manager. I don't get to make the wine. That's probably a good thing. But this wine comes from the Santa Barbara County in the place called the Santa Rita Hills. So just about an hour north of where we went to school in Santa Barbara, because you and I actually went to school at the same time.
Yeah, I'm sure we saw each other like on Del Playa or something.
Maybe, I don't know. There was a lot of us out there those days. And actually, I'm going to just turn the screen a little bit because I'm getting a lot of sunlight. But I think about like Megan and Allison when they're making the wine, and this is the product, right? It's the single bottle. It's their heart and soul. You get one shot out of the year, so it's not like anything else. It gets grown and then it gets made.
Wow!
And then they got to put all their heart into it, and then they literally give it to me, and they're like, "Go show it off."
There you go. That's crazy. That's got to be crazy. Like trying that first sip once, you make the wine and a year's gone by and it's like, and I'm sure every year is different. Right. So it's like some
Mhm.
years it's probably like, we nailed it. Some of those just like, I love it, but whatever, it's probably like anything. Right.
It's just like, yeah, I mean, I think you have your, for me, that, you pitched in front of my grandma actually when she was 90 years old. Don't mean to bring the story up, but this is like the memory I have of you pitching, and you killed it. You killed it against the Dodgers, right? And then the next day, your hand might be too sweaty. I was a catcher, so I would have off
Mm.
days all the time, right?
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, well, we'll get it next year. But the winemakers, it's really like they gotta get up and go at it every day. And for this wine, it's from a little area in Santa Barbara County. It's about 8 miles from the ocean. Has all kinds of problems with growing fruit. It's
Oh,
windy. It's shallow soils. There's no water. And so those challenges are all there. But when you can get it right, it's just really, really good. What did you think?
that's great. Oh man, I love it. It's a little, there's kind of the spectrum of fuller and lighter, even with the Pinot, and I like it because it's a little fuller bodied Pinot, which I love. Um,
Wow.
because I would say like if I had to pick one kind of wine, probably it would be like the Zin, the super
Oh,
thick.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
I like the Pinot when I'm not trying to get crazy, but I do like the Pinot that's a little more, a little
Uh-huh.
thicker. So
No, for sure. I think you just nailed it. And by the way, we make a great Zinfandel called
oh, okay.
Baca. So I hope you enjoy that wine, as I
Oh,
know we
love
do.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, it's the
Scott Hatterberg from the A's, who was, I guess he was the main star of Moneyball. Um, he was like my wine teacher.
uh-huh.
Me and a guy named Adam Pyatt came to the A's. Well, we were coming up, but we kind of came up together, so we were like best friends. And
Hmm.
Hatterberg saw us we were just these two unrefined, just children that, in the league. And he had to teach us about wine and, coffee beans and wine grapes and how to wear our shirt correctly and how to dress right.
Oh,
So Hattie really taught me most of like the base of what I know about wine.
yeah. Did he ever drag you up like to Napa or wine country and show you guys what's going on, or with those trips?
No, I mean, we just never had the time, I mean, the rare off day, we didn't travel. But I actually asked my wife to marry me in Napa.
Oh,
And yeah, we went to a handful of wineries across the valley and I had a very thick mustache that day to kind of throw her off. Like he would never propose with a mustache. Um, and then we were eating lunch in Calistoga and I hadn't proposed yet, but
mhm.
I went down to a knee like at the table and then like I was like, oh, my hip flexors are so tight. And I kind of acted like I was stretching. She's like, so I really threw her off. And then at the end of the day, we stayed kind of in this valley. And then I finally asked her and she was like, I can't believe you did that with the getting down on the knee, like going into a hammy stretch or whatever.
So you deked out your wife. You literally
Totally.
confused your wife.
Full
Like,
blown, like, yeah, and the only reason I did it was her birthday, and also, like, it was her birthday, the engagement day, and it was an off day for us in 2011, so, like, everything lined up perfect.
and in 2011, it was probably raining. That's what I remember. It may have been one of the only sunny days that we had in Napa that
I think
day.
it was, yeah, even
Yeah.
that was lined up, yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. So you brought up Hatterberg, so I'm gonna and Moneyball. You were a part of that. You're the big three in Moneyball, right? You, Mulder, and Hudson.
Mhm.
And I think you were drafted by Billy Bean.
Yep, yeah, Billy Bean, yeah.
Um, so and those are the three guys. I think if I'm
What a
right, it's
frosted tips right there on the me and Mulder, that was such a thing, that was 2001, that was such a thing back then.
well, was that sitting on the couch and watching tape or?
No, that's during the game in
Uh-huh.
Minnesota. That's in the Metrodome, old Minnesota, and
Uh-huh.
we're just in there watching the game on TV because
Yeah.
sometimes guys go up in the clubhouse just to kind of like take a bathroom break or grab a snack, and so sometimes we'd marinate up there for a couple innings because whatever we just kind of how you did it in the big
No,
leagues.
I
It was
I
awesome.
totally agree. You guys are on the road. It's 163 games. You're on the road for half of them, and you got to be able to sit and chill, right? You're not at work that day, so you got to rest and relax.
Yeah, and they
So
had great snacks on the road. Like as you can see, there was a huge thing of cheese puffs. It's like, oh, is that what the best athletes in the world are supposed to do? It's like, not baseball, guys.
Yeah, no. One of my dear friends was Pedro Gomez, and you
Oh, yeah,
probably remember him from the clubhouse. He
sure.
used to talk about the food that you guys got, like
Yeah.
just catering services.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was like, it was like I used to say it was like a 7-Eleven. Like they had every candy bar. And then I think, around 2010, people started getting health conscious. So like the Phillies were the very first team to like pull the bad food out of the clubhouse, but they didn't really pull it out. They just put it in the back pantry. So when you're like, hey, I need the Reese's cups, they're like, yeah, no worries.
So you can still make calls for something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It just was like, it looked good that it wasn't out in front.
Well, it's important. You guys are
Yeah.
you guys are doing everything. You got to make sure your bodies are right. That was an important thing for you, by the way. Has that you were the most I don't know, thoughtful pitcher is the best way I could say it. Like watching you pitch was like watching like Greg Maddux pitch, right? You just everything that you did was purposeful. Do you still keep up with your meditation and things like that you were doing in baseball?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have like my routine to kind of get centered, because life seems to be just as crazy. It's just crazy with other things, you know what I mean?
Right.
Three small boys and other things. But like, yeah, I was very kind of new age spiritual for most of my baseball career. And then I found a relationship with God when I was 33. So that was after a lot of turbulence with the Giants. But so that changed a couple things. I still do the meditation sometimes, and for me, I feel like I have like this friend I can talk to that can help me out through any situation. So that I think that's the biggest change, honestly, is having a God that I have a relationship with. Because before it was just like a force, it was like it was a higher power, which was awesome, but it was very impersonal. It was like it didn't really care about me. So this feels different. So it changed my life completely.
No, for sure. And how does that play into your music now? Are you, do you still seek that kind of that meditation, that spirit, through God or through other spirits?
Yeah, no, it's definitely, I lean on God a lot when I'm creating, sometimes just like all of us, I'll try to do it all myself. And when I do, sometimes it just gets messed up, whatever part of life it is. So if I can kind of go into it as a collaborative effort, and trusting that I can only control so much and that, God can control the rest, it usually ends up a lot better. And I have more peace of mind, which is really, I think, what we're all looking for, is our sanity and contentment.
Well, if you can do that, or you can become a winemaker, because the one thing we can't control is the weather. And so we're constantly at odds with like what energy is going to give us grapes this year. So
yeah,
feel you a little bit.
That's right. Yes, the wine gods probably play a big role.
They do. Yeah, Mother Nature loves to keep us on our toes. I mean, for this wine, typically we'll see this wine harvested in, September, let's call it. And it came to us, the latest I've ever seen it, I was there on October 12th, and we picked the grapes. So almost a month afterwards. It's still delicious. It's still terrific. But you're like, I mean, I literally talked to one of the growers there. I'm like, what are you doing right now? I'm just drinking tequila, waiting for the grapes to come in. It's just kind of what we do.
Yeah, man. I know the season's weird. It was warm for so long out here. I don't know if that played a role, but it just got cold like a week ago. So.
Oh yeah, you guys just got hammered from what I saw. It's like just switched. The game is different now.
Yeah. Right in the 40s now, high 30s. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I got to get back out there because going to UC Santa Barbara was such a killer experience. And, I didn't really get out into the town much, but, I would surf at sands and things like that, but I never got out into town per se. So there's a lot to do out there. I know.
No, the whole town's different. A lot of it has changed. We're looking at maybe opening a tasting room downtown. There's a whole little group of tasting rooms in this area called the Funk Zone, which, I guess Pinot's funky, so I can go down there and get it. But we're checking it out. Are you keeping up with what's going on in the World Series and baseball? I know I've got a couple of questions from people that wanted to ask you about the World Series in baseball, if that's all right.
Of course, man. Yeah, send it on. It's funny. I watched more baseball this year, which was the whole Giants playoff run, because I'm a little disconnected just because baseball time is usually we go to bed at like 9:30. We're like going to bed pretty early. And of course, West Coast games,
Yeah.
But I loved watching the Giants playoff run. I was heartbroken that the Dodgers beat them. And, I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not watching anymore. I can't handle this. So my buddy just texted me. He's like, dude, did you know that dude was pitching a broken leg yesterday? And I was like, what?
Huh?
So I did have to kind of look at that. But I'm not watching currently.
Got it. Yeah, I stopped watching with it. So I was actually I don't know if you know Rich Aurelia. He's got a winery called Red Stitch, like
Yeah.
from the Laces.
Yeah.
And so he and I were pouring at an event in Healdsburg the day of the game 5 when we lost to the Dodgers. And I just looked at him. I was like, how are you still here? Like, for me, I'm just a fan, but you are a player. Like, you're in the game. So
yeah.
Yeah, it was depressing. But Alex Bregman was good enough to come on this show early on in the pandemic. He was one of our first like superstars like you to come on our shows. Before that, it was just feel free, please.
Your wine, sorry.
No, please.
This is not a courtesy glass. Now this is like, oh, this is good. So just know that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I hope your wife enjoys it. If she wants to come upstairs there, all right. That would be welcomed at the winery and on our happy hours. So thanks. But yeah, it's been an interesting season. I really wish the Giants had made it 107 wins, but maybe they needed you. Frankly, you were the one who saved our ass. And excuse my French. Oops, sorry, Catherine. In 2012.
None of these people have heard that word, so we got to apologize there.
No, for sure. No, you saved our butt in 2012. That was one of the most amazing pitching stands in Cincinnati. I probably think you remember that one.
Yeah, no, it was actually St. Louis. Cincinnati was not a good game, but St. Louis was a good game. I think that's why St. Louis was a good game, because it was like I was quickly reminded of how to not go about my work. So 2 innings, 3 runs, get pulled early. I was like, don't do that again. So
yeah. So instead, go the distance, keep us in the World Series hunt.
Yes.
Take out the Cardinals.
Do it. Yeah. Which is my wife's team, because my wife's from Missouri. Like, so all of her family are Cardinals fans. But when all that happened, they literally made the local sports. They live 2 hours south of St. Louis, outside of Cape Girardeau. And so the local sports store start carrying Giants gear. So like they literally showed up in all Giants gear to that NLCS game, which was like the coolest. Like,
yeah,
I felt like so supported from it's funny when you have a small town, 1,000 people, you just feel like they're all your family, so that was really cool.
That is a cool town. I've been there once. I got called to do a wine tasting and a wine dinner at a restaurant. Yeah. And we were looking out on the 3rd floor over the flood wall.
Okay.
Out to the Mississippi.
It's
a beautiful town.
That's right. Yeah. It's great, man.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So, kudos to her. Thanks so much. So,
I'm looking at some cool comments. Hi, everybody. I'm seeing it's like Dana Negros throwing love out here, and we got all kinds of people. Go Gauchos from Ren. Very cool.
Yes. Yeah, but you have a lot of Gaucho fans up here. Oh, yeah, there we go. There's Ren. We've got a couple. I was looking at it while you were jamming on the Walt Wines Happy Hour. Getting lots of love. That's what I would say. Lots of love. So where does music take you now, and when are we going to be able to see you come play in the Bay Area?
This whole COVID thing's so tricky, right? So I'm just going to start playing some shows locally here in Nashville, some songwriter nights and things like that. We might come back out, again. I mean, I just love playing live so much. I had a great time at Sweetwater, which is a beautiful venue in Marin. Yeah. And then, played Great American Music Hall, which was so cool. So it would just be awesome to get back there and just go through pop music or country or like whatever, just hang, just play some songs and acoustically and just hang out with people. That's what I love doing, is like just sharing songs and talking music with people.
Yeah, we get you at the Sweetwater. That'd be great. The Mystic up in Petaluma. Have you ever been to the Uptown in downtown Napa?
No, I've heard about that place. That would be killer to get the Napa vibe going, man.
Yeah, we get a lot of you'd have a huge following because I mean it's a Giants town. And the East Bay would probably crawl over for your early years as an A. But I live in Marin County, so I know that that would be best for me for an Uber home for sure. I'd bring you the wine, by the way.
Yes, that's perfect. I love it. I love it.
Awesome.
There's
Hey, well,
here. There's a really good question here. Can I answer this question?
Yeah, for sure. Because actually, I'm not getting them on my phone, so I'm trying to figure out how to get these.
Really good question. It's from Ryan Kirkpatrick, who was just saying, like, I'm super frustrated with the, umpires not calling curveballs, my curveballs, I guess, and curveball therefore. But it's interesting because I have an interesting opinion on this. He said, "Do you have any thoughts on how the MLB can improve the accuracy on properly calling pitches?"
Yeah.
And there's been debate whether it should be essentially like computer generated. Like, there's lasers. There was this thing called Quest Tech back 15 years ago, and it would essentially was like it was an accountability system for the umpires. So they would kind of go after the game and they'd see how many, how many calls they missed, how many guys got right. But I do think that in this era where everything is automated, everything's technological. I remember when the Golden Gate Bridge tolls went from humans to like non-humans, as everything became robotic, I just feel like that human element is pretty, like, it's precious. And I feel like we have to embrace it.
So this is the number one argument I have with my friend Adam is about robots versus, and I've maintained that it should be a human. And so as a Cy Young winning pitcher, you're cool with them screwing up your curveball because it was good.
Yeah. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, if they call the curveball that crosses through the strike zone, when somebody throws a curveball that is like a legit curveball, it's going to bounce. It's probably going to bounce before it gets to the catcher, and it's going to be like strike. So that's going to look weird. You know what I mean? Like, people are going to be like, what? That just bounced on the plate. I was like, yeah, because it's a good curveball.
It started at the bottom of the zone and it dropped out.
That's right. That's right. It came through the strike zone at the very front, and then whatever. I mean, it could literally hit the back of the plate. So it just, and when they throw that curveball and the guy like catches it here, boom, it should be strike three. It's like, well, technically that ball crossed the plate, like at the guy's nipples. So it wasn't really, but they will still call it sometimes. And of course I always enjoyed when they did. So,
well, I mean, you were painting corners with your curveball. That was what I always loved, was that it was coming across the zone and it was just like right at the belt.
Yeah. Yeah. That was fun. That seems like a lifetime ago. My gosh.
I was a catcher, so I enjoyed watching it. So
yeah, totally, man. That's cool.
You'd call it, you'd literally set it, and then you'd watch it go from this guy's head down to your glove, and you're like, "See ya! I'm just gonna go I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna go hang out in the clubhouse for a little bit.
I'm gonna go watch the replay for like 20 minutes."
Yeah, well, and it just always felt so good when you called the pitch, you got the pitch.
Yeah,
I'm talking about me, but for you, I'm sure it's just even better. Like,
with the catcher, man, that whole like catcher pitcher relationship thing is so cool. Like, and Ramon Hernandez, I think, was just so brilliant. The way he would call pitches. I mean, at many points, Ramon for the A's, like, I mean, we'd go 15, 20 pitches where I wouldn't shake it. I wouldn't shake at all. He just knew the right thing. It was incredible.
Yeah, that was actually one of the questions that we had was, what's the importance of the catcher in your role? And we didn't, I didn't want to break your music because we were talking a lot about your music, but that was one of the Facebook questions I got was like, who was your favorite catcher and why? So Ramon was the
I feel like Ramon, I mean, it's hard to not say Ramon because that was during my Cy Young year.
Yeah.
But I mean, I had very special moments with all the catchers that ever caught me. And, and I think I really enjoyed throwing to Buster in San Francisco because he caught me when I was absolutely horrible. And he caught me when I was a little better than that. And so that was really cool, to kind of have him come through that with me. And people don't know this, but Pablo Sandoval, shortly before I named him the Panda.
I was going to say, I almost brought the picture. I have a signed picture of him.
Yes. But shortly before that, he caught me often. He came up as a catcher in 2008. Yeah. People don't know that, but he was an incredible catcher, and me and Pablo worked really well together. He's just a great athlete, but I really loved throwing to Pablo. So when they moved him to third base, I was like, oh man, like I really loved throwing to Pablo. He was great.
Yeah. It was always it always felt good for me, even when I was, playing baseball in my 30s and we weren't that great anymore. It just, when you call a pitch and the pitcher just like nods it and delivers it,
Yeah,
it's like, that's just the best. So
that's it. That's it.
that's a fine wine, man. Hey, Barry, I just wanted to thank you for all of your time, for sharing it with us, and also, wanted to make sure you guys should come out for your anniversary. I think we're just going to have to host you and do the party. So
we would love to hit you guys up. If we get out that way, and at least just come say hi and have some wine, and let you give us some wine. That'd be great.
I'd love to give you some wine, and you can come play too if you want. Hopefully we can talk our neighbors into letting us do it. But if we can, we'd love to have you out, man. That'd be
love
sweet.
it. I love it, Jeff. It's great, man. And thank you everyone for hanging out today. It's just been fun, being a part of this and watching everybody talking. And yeah, I love this stuff. And we got a Vegas baby in the house. That's so awesome.
Yes, we did.
I was born in Vegas, so I have roots in Vegas. So
yeah, no, well, and I think they were saying that when you were talking about Vegas on your song. So that was Vegas,
right.
baby. Well, hey man, if anything you wanted to say to the crowd, you've been a really awesome guest. Really appreciate your time.
No, I just appreciate you guys hanging, and I don't get out of this cave much, unfortunately. So I feel like I've kind of gotten out, even though I'm still home. And so
yeah, perfect
for allowing me the experience to socialize with other human beings that's not my wife or children. So thank you. Hey,
you're always welcome to give us a call, and anytime you want to come on our happy hour and sing, that'd be awesome. Thanks for debuting your new single with us today.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks so much, guys.
Cool. Well, we will see you soon. Thanks again, everyone. Barry Zito. That was wow. Just personally, that was I can now go to sleep. That kept me up for a long time. I was really nervous about that interview. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us on the Hall, Waltz, and Baca Happy Hour. We have amazing guests still yet to come. We're going to take a short break after Christmas, so that makes it a lot of Wednesdays. Please come check us out. Cheers to everyone who came, including Barry Zito. Thank you so much, my friend. Cheers to you. Be good and drink well. Cheers.